Ding, 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 ding.
He turned the car on in the garage, and my fucking porn came through the Bluetooth.
Ask her. I heard Dean Blundell smokes crack. Was actually the first to smoke it with Rob Ford, I heard, too.
What's Dean got to do with it? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Dean.
States rated R for, restricted and for a little bit romantic.
What do we got?
What is that in the background?
What is that over there by the mic?
Is he making wallets? What is he doing?
What's he doing?
It looks like he's... Never mind.
What's he doing? What? Is he dead?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Good looking dude, right? That's a good looking guy right there in the camera. Welcome to the show. My name is Dean. We're here. It's like day of the week. Lots going on. We got a full deck today. Everybody's here. We're going to talk about hugging.
Tuesday, eh?
We're going to talk about hugging today. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. At Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Yeah, it's only Tuesday today. James D. Fiore, we're talking hugging today. You'll like that. Hugging. James D. Fiore, blackballmedia.ca. Bondzee, we're going to talk about hugging today. Looks like you actually could use one. We'll get to that a little later on as well. But we're all here. Not only hugging, we got Bill Gates to get to today, which would be interesting. Joe Rogan shoving his foot in his face. But I think it's an interesting conversation, which a lot of people will get mad at me for saying, but I think it's an interesting conversation. So we'll talk about Joe Rogan today as well. Not something we normally talk about. We don't normally talk about Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan's on the schedule. Do you?
Well,
Never listened to a show in my life.
He could probably use a boost in the ratings, so we might.
Yeah, probably not. He could probably use some money. Probably use some money from us. Yeah. So we've got that going for us today. We've also got Bondzee to deal with. Russel Crowe got super fat. He loves being fat, so we got Russel Crowe to get to later on today as well. And Bob's your uncle. Thanks to our friends over at Gitch, North America's premier underwear. Order yours today from edsfineimports.com. Get 4 for the price of 3 when you use promo code GITCH3. Do that today. Black Rose Organics, better medicine at a better price. Go to shop.blackroseorganics.com, the official cannabis partner of DeanBlundell.com. Also, our friends over at Blue Microphones, the official supplier of mics and headphones and the entire gear, everything, kit and caboodle for DeanBlundell.com and the podcast network as well. And, of course, our friends over at Easy Auto Financial. If you need financing and you need a car, I trust these guys. Good people. Go to easyautofinancial.ca today. Subprime lending, which means if you got shitty credit rating, they'll deal with it. They want your credit. They want to be able to help you buy a car. So go do that. Easyautofinancial.ca. Hello, fellas.
Dinner.
Hi.
How are we?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yep. No one's touching me.
We were talking about like how we're going to plan the show today, and I was laughing because we've been trying to get to this one bit. It's not even a bit. It's just like it's a topic of conversation because we're coming close to the end of the pandemic. It didn't feel like it, but here in Ontario, they're like 18 plus. Let's go. We'll vaccinate fucking everybody. That announcement was today. Happens at the end of the week. I think Alberta's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But we got enough vaccines where it's like, fuck, first come, first serve. Let's just buy. So now people are starting to think about what's coming next, right? And I read a great article on how so many people who haven't hugged, who are huggers, are excited to start hugging and shaking hands with people again. I also read that bit that Dr. Fauci put out where he's like, I'm not fucking hugging anybody ever again. We should never fucking hug. We should never shake hands. And I'm like, fuck yeah, the Fauci's right on. Right? And then I read another piece. It's like there's a woman who was standing in Toronto with a blindfold on, married woman, just handing out hugs because she'd been vaccinated and felt like she needed to hug people. That was in Toronto. And I wanted to bring this up because I'm a hugger if I know you. Like I don't mind hugging people. Love hugging my mom. Love hugging my dad. Love hugging my kids. Outside of that, I'm not great with an embrace. Like if someone's like, when someone's like, oh, great to meet you, let's have a hug. I'm like, let's not hug. And so I've really enjoyed the non-hugging portion and the non-contact portion of the pandemic. And I wanted to go around the table because I think this is going to be a big deal. I really do, in kind of a fun way, like a socio sort of study that you get to do every time you go into a group. But where are we at? Like when the hugging starts again, Locke, or when everyone's vaccinated, we're going to hockey games, we're going to the park, and no one's thinking about it. Masks are all coming off, and it's totally cool. The CDC and the government's like, fucking start hugging people. Where are you going to be? Are you going to hug? Are you going to engage? Or has this done what it's done for me, done to you, which is cemented the fact that I don't need to touch people?
I have a rule at work. No hugging. I don't like to be touched at work. I'm there to fucking work. None of this, like, and I the one thing I am bothered by, though, is the handshake thing. I like that as a greeting. I don't know about you, but I can get a good sense of somebody from a grasp and a handshake. But I don't need to wrap my paws around you. I hug my family. I can be affectionate when called upon, right? Mm-hmm. And more so when I've got 6 beer in me, but I'm not definitely not missing the hugging thing. Yeah.
But do you plan on hugging when
No.
it comes back? Because,
No.
well, James, do you plan on hugging people when it comes back? You plan on hugging when we're told we get the green light to hug?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not like, I don't want to hug strangers all the time or anything. Like when I was young, when I was throwing raves, like it was a full throttle kind of environment. But there was like, well, then you get older and you hug your family and your friends. And if you have some weird spontaneous thing where it's like, I know with the stranger and you give them a hug or something like that, it's just like a random event. But I definitely don't want to be afraid of shaking hands and hugging people, because I find that's, who that would be good for? Chris Sky, because he would be like, see what it's done to society, I don't think you want to. Yeah. And plus, aren't we supposed to like shake hands and stuff and like get that immunity by getting bugs and, having our immune system kick in and shit like that? So I think we're going to probably be healthier if we at least do it a bit, no?
What, if we keep shaking hands and hugging, or if we go back to touching people? I don't know. I mean, that's why we're in the situation to begin with, right? Is because people hug and got too close, and then all the touching, and then the touching of the face, and all the stuff, and the pathology that comes with it.
James is onto something. There is something to be said. If you live in an overly sterile environment and your body never, like, for instance, you guys have met James P. White, the little person on the locker room.
Yeah.
That guy, I've been saying out loud now for months and months, they need to haul him into a lab somewhere, pull his blood, and test the shit out of this little fucker, because he will cut himself and he'll just sit there and go and heal himself in 2 hours. I've never seen anything like it. The guy brings food in once in a while. He's a decent cook. He brings in food, like he's got extra food. I'll eat it. I'll literally 30 minutes later, I'll be running to the toilet, shitting my brains out. I'll come back in the control room and he'll be like, "What's wrong with you?" The guy's got
why? Because it's spicy, or is it because it's spicy? Or there's only so much you can make in an.
I think he's saying his immunity system's like fucking 12 out of 10.
He has a handshake with botulism. Like he's probably at home eating meat that he left on the counter for 4 days. He was talking about he got so mad at us because we were talking about what you throw out and how much waste. And I admit, man, I'm bad. Like if I get milk, it's just even a touch off, gone. Meat, like sandwich meat, if I get that little sticky, he's like, "What are you doing? You just fry that up." Like he's guts.
He's not concerned. Well, that's what you're saying, right? Like he's got no concern over the whole thing. Like if I've learned one thing over the past year, it's that I really don't like being touched. So there's that part of it, right? But now in my head, as we've gone through this last year of disease, what you can touch, what you can't touch, what's airborne, what isn't, who's carrying what, how many variants, it just seems like fucking bad business, like 2 months after a pandemic ends, to start bringing people in nice and tight for a hug all the time. And I've got friends that are huggers, And I'm not a hugger, right? I've got a couple people. I'm like, you do the side thing and stuff like that. But you know what this whole thing is alleviated to for me is that awkwardness that you get when you first meet somebody. Like, have you ever been to your friend's house? He's got a wife you haven't met. You get invited over for dinner, and you're like, oh, this is a nice dinner. And you know the guy, and you give him a high five and maybe one of those little bro hugs, one of those, which I also don't like. Fucking can't. Yeah, the arm thing and the.
You guys did you not get loved or hugged or touched as a child? Where does all this hate come from of not being touched?
Do we really want to start digging into my childhood trauma here, Bondzee? I don't think we have fucking time or the energy.
Yeah, but that's where I get sad.
A long day.
I get sad when I have to lean in and all of a sudden there's a game you got to play where you're looking at someone you don't know.
Oh, did we lose Dean? He's gone.
I think so.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, there we go. Got him back. Dean, I got some advice for you on if you're still there.
I don't think I want to be in the ship. I don't think everybody. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. I feel like it's an invasion of my privacy. So I've enjoyed this, and now I've got this anxiety post-pandemic where I'm like, fuck, now we're back to touching. I don't want to touch anybody.
You know what? You do. By the way, can you fix the I hate being in the top corner. There you go.
Yeah. How's that?
I felt awkward. Okay. Yeah. So the thing that I would do if I were you is, and this is something that I think James already does, and Bondzee fucking for sure. If you're not a hugger and you don't want to be the guy that's the hugger, you want to be known for the guy that's not hugging. When anybody comes in for a hug, just sort of dry hump them a little. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be known as the guy that when you get a hug, you kind of like hump them a little. And
if you don't get arrested, that should be a good plan. Yeah.
I'm talking 2 seconds.
I'll just go for the hug. Right.
Your Honor, I only humped her without her consent for 2 seconds. I don't see what the bit problem is here.
And her daughter, her ejaculation. I'm just saying, you just give them a little rub. And you'll never get hugged again.
Yeah, you know, most of us know you're joking, and I knew you were joking when you said, and I quote, "Guys, not to the point of ejaculation."
Fine.
You know, I've thought about this.
Guys, you don't finish like a dog.
As a strategy.
There's CSI. You can't finish.
That's some strategy.
But do you guys think that when someone, Bondzee, I know you're a hugger, you don't mind the hugs. Do you guys think that when, for me, because I'm petrified because I'm like, I got a thing about touching in people in personal space. I'm weird, and it's probably not a healthy. What's that?
Are you more? What about the handshake? Like if you shake hands,
I'm not shaking hands. No, that's over.
No, done. Nux
done. No, that's done.
Nothing.
No,
eh? Wow.
No, I don't see the reason to touch someone when you meet them.
Like, I don't know.
It's been around forever, though.
Yeah, but doesn't mean it's been a good idea. Like, smoking was around forever. Doctors are like 5 out of 6 doctors prefer Camels up until like the 60s and 70s, right? And then they're like, "Oh, it's probably not a good idea." Now we just got through a
vape all day.
I know where that's been, right? That's the thing, is that I know this comes in a Tetra Pak that's sealed and it's sanitary, so no big deal. My thing is that there's an anxiety associated with the time that's coming, and I wonder if it's okay to have like a policy, or when deaf people walk around and ask people for money and they give you a card and they're like, "Hey, I'm deaf, I need some money." Like, you see those guys in the food court, they're probably not deaf.
I never.
You haven't seen that? No, I don't either. I'm like, you can hear me.
This is a smile card.
Yeah, I go like this.
Scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, and they're like, "I can't hear you." I'm like, "I got you."
Next time, go like this. Do you want $500? But say it like this. Do you want $500? I'll give $500 to you right now.
But I'm wondering if it's okay to have like a card, where you go into like new things and you're like, "Dude, listen, really nice to meet you. Take the card. That'll tell you everything you need to know about where I'm at with the touching."
No, because you want to know why you don't need the cards, because
I'm a dry humper.
They'll spot your neuroticism from like the food court. You're like, "Oh, look at that neurotic guy. Don't hug him." You'll be saying,
I'm pretty sure that people pick up on your vibes.
Yeah, he'd twitch. He'd be all twitchy the next time he goes into public into a mall. Imagine Dean in a mall tomorrow. He'd be walking around like, just like, "Look at, did you touch me? Did you touch me? Okay, I'm just trying to get through."
No, and I'm, and the thing is, I'm not like that if I'm around people. Like I'll go to the grocery store and walk by someone, and they'll get all chintzy about everything. Like, don't go near. Like the other day, this guy's like, "You're walking the wrong way. The arrows are pointing the other fucking way already." And I'm like, "Settle down, arrow cop, relax." and so I don't get upset by that. It's literally the touching. It's the touching and the hugging and the handshaking. Like I think it's over. I'm just wondering how I deal with it. I guess
it's coming back.
I don't think it's over by any means.
Yeah, you don't think so, Bondzee?
No, especially, I mean, down here in Texas.
Well, it's over for me. It's over for me.
Well, yeah, I think it definitely is over for you, but I don't think it is over as a whole in society. I mean, down here in Texas, I see people hugging, handshaking, knucks, and I'm doing it too. With I had friends, and then I met friends through friends here, and yeah, I mean, we all, it's weird. We all hug it out and do the handshake or the knucks or the slap pound kind of thing. But I don't like being touched. I'm not going to lie to you, but I like the and I don't know if you call it intimate, but I like hugging people. I don't want you to come and talk to me. I don't want you to come and talk to me.
That doesn't want to be touched. Really?
Yeah.
No, but in this sense where I don't want you to come and talk to me and put your hand on my fucking shoulder or be right up in my grill and talking about this. I'm not down with that. Like, back off. Don't fucking touch me. And everybody who knows me knows that it's one of my sayings forever is like, just don't touch me. My brothers were big like that. They gotta touch you when they're talking to you. It's like, that's when I have a problem with touching. Don't fucking touch me when you're talking to me.
Oh, like
Stand
those
back,
guys you'll be in a conversation with them, and they'll hold your elbow while you're talking to them, or grab your arm and hold your arm when you're talking. I fucking hate that so much. It's like, dude, get your hand off me. My dad said he'll grab my arm. I'm like, dude, I don't like you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad my dad's dead.
You think that was okay?
No, I like him. No, he's like let's be serious. There's like a roster of people who were allowed to touch me, and my dad's one of them. He can hug me. My mom, of course, hug me anytime. Best hugs in the world. Kids can hug me anytime. I'm talking about the peripheral touching. Like, now that we've been a touchless society, a contactless society, I've enjoyed it. I don't think it's something we should take it. As a matter of fact, I think they should tell people, they should fake people out and go, listen, there's something in the air, but it only happens when you shake hands or hug.
It's funny because I kind of picked up on what James was saying about you, Dean, and the fact that I think you could probably be in most social situations and you don't need a card. No. Right? I think people are going to pick up on your vibe. And I think I'm sort of the same way. I'm also 240 pounds, maybe 50 now. And I'm 6'4".
Russel Crowe,
like,
so
I'm a big guy. And no one stands next to me and holds my elbow while they talk to me. That is never, I have never had that happen to me. Not once in my life.
Those are the worst.
Have I ever been in a situation where somebody felt the need to put their hand on my shoulder while we communicated because of the vibe I send out in a room right away? I make sure that everyone is well aware of the type of personality that I am. And I think you got a little bit of that, Dean, as well.
Well, you see, and that's the struggle is that I've been on this journey for years to become, to have a better perspective on life.
More huggable.
Yeah, to be more huggable. And I got to tell you, like, having a year in solitude where no one is like, especially in a relationship, let's hold hands. I'm like, I fucking hate holding hands. I don't want to hold your hand. And maybe this is a me issue we should work on, is the holding hands with a girl. I'm like, or anybody else. I'm like, there's so much sweat. Let's not touch. Let's just, and the same thing after the sex. Like, you have the sex and you're like, let's cuddle. And I'm like, let's not get, you go there, I'll go here. We'll have a pleasant conversation. Maybe we'll have a coffee after. And then maybe we'll do this again in a couple of days. How does that sound? So maybe it's an intimacy thing that I have a problem with, or maybe I'm a fucking robot.
You're reading too much into it.
I think maybe all your intimacy is tied up in the part right after it's done where you towel them off. Maybe that's the intimacy.
Yeah. No, it's where I throw them a dish towel and I say, that was awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, please don't kiss me.
I am personally, just hearing you talk, I'm shocked that you had so much trouble with women over the years.
I haven't had any trouble with them. they've had a problem with me.
Touche.
Speaking of trouble with women, do you guys see the Bill Gates divorce proceedings moving along quite nicely?
I love all
Oh my
this.
Player.
God.
I love all of this. It
So
just,
I see
all
this-
he's doing is proving all the conspiracy theorists.
I know. Like, we got a two-pronged issue here. One is Bill Gates is a horny bastard. He acknowledged through a spokesperson that he had an extramarital affair with a Microsoft employee, several as a matter of fact, and when you read the story, which Microsoft said it led its board to investigate the intimate relationship shortly before he resigned from the board last year. Now, I went in and did a little digging into the story, which is my way of saying I screen grabbed the first part of the WAPO story. Bill Gates acknowledged that he had an extramarital affair with a Microsoft employee. It was like in 2000. It was a long, long time ago. But apparently it's still happening. Like, in 24 years of marriage, dude has been a hound dog. He's fucked all kinds of chicks at work, which happens
he's got
at work.
a card.
But then
Dry
it gets,
humper card.
oh, for sure. He's like, yeah, don't touch me, but I will hump your leg. A dry humper card. But then he says, separately, the New York Times reported on Saturday that Gates pursued a woman who both worked at Microsoft. Women, more than one, worked at Microsoft and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. French Gates, that's Melinda's full name.
Yeah.
French Gates.
Oh.
Hired a divorce lawyer in 2019 after meetings with Gates. Had with convicted sex offender. This is where it gets fucking crazy, fellas.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein became public. The Times reported Epstein, who'd been charged with sexually abusing dozens of young women, died by suicide. He didn't die, but he didn't. Kill himself. I don't think he killed himself. So where do we think we're at with this? Because two things that I got out of this: A, Bill Gates is down to fuck, no matter who it is, and you wouldn't pin him for that kind of like soft-spoken, bridge-playing, super like the world's richest nerd. Still loves to fuck, which is kind of encouraging, right? And you factor in the fact that he had a consensual relationship with like a 70-year-old woman for a long period of time, where he'd go to her beach house, and and his wife was okay with that. Now, all of a sudden, and I need you to stay with me here, fellas, and Jamesy, help me out. All of a sudden, she's concerned about other relationships, and now she's all of a sudden concerned about Jeffrey Epstein. And then I started thinking, I wonder if there's more to the Epstein Bill Gates shit. And it kills me to say it, because all the conspiracy twats are like, we told you. Like, are we man enough if this indeed is true and he's got some Epstein skeletons in his closet? Are we men enough here? Are we common sense enough to go, maybe the crazies were right about Bill Gates? Jamesy?
Well, I think sometimes crazy people are right about things, so I don't give a fuck if we give them credit for being right about something like that. I think that a divorce strategy is playing out in the public. I think that Bill Gates probably made an offer and Belinda didn't like it, and she was like, all right, time to play hardball, and she sent a bunch of shit to Page Six. I don't care about the affair with Microsoft employee that happened 20 years ago, whatever that was.
It was fairly. Can I just jump in? Because I remember we read a couple of them, James. They were fairly innocuous. They were and again, I don't know all the details, but from what we were reading, he would like email them going, hey, listen, if you would like to go for dinner, I'm open to going for dinner with you. If not, if this makes you uncomfortable at all, just ignore it. We can go on about our life. The problem is he was doing a lot of that.
Whatever. Like, I don't care about, dude. If that is so mild. If I was ever the richest man in the world, there would be mountains of evidence of things that I did wrong. I would not survive that. The divorce proceedings would be like this. I'll just keep like $5 billion. You just take everything and sign an NDA, okay, baby? Like, that would be my thing. But then, okay, the Epstein thing. Look, not everyone that hangs out with Epstein is fucking kids, right? Like, that's a weird thing to just sort of imagine.
I just assumed that everybody that hung out with Epstein was a pedophile. So that's why I'm like, is there a pedophile smoke in this fire?
They called that island that they used to all go to Pet Island. Was what I heard.
Island.
Pedophile Island, right? That was the nickname for it. That's what they called it. Like,
yeah. Well, who called it that?
I think the staff and people that were there, and I think
Locals.
he jokingly called it that. He was known, obviously. Where was it? Was the Bahamas or something like that?
Yeah, Bahamas.
Yeah.
It was called Little Jeff Island, is what he called it. So at least he wasn't narcissistic. Yeah.
So they used to fly these girls in for weekends and stuff like that, and some of them were very, very young, and that's the nickname from what I read. Well, didn't you guys see the 4-part series on?
Oh yeah,
on
Yeah.
Netflix, whatever?
Yeah.
It was kind of
yeah.
thin. I thought it was kind of thin. But listen,
It was a little thin, but I mean,
all
that's
the
what.
reports that I've read, and there may be one time they said that he went to that island, but from all the reports I read, they talk about him visiting him at his Manhattan apartment. So, and I don't know if that's pedophile north or whatever, but
The Manhattan apartment where
Bill Gates,
where Prince Andrew used to bang chicks too, young
that's the
girls.
one.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one.
So that's the thing. Like now it's no one's saying it. I don't know if it's like a divorce. One of the greatest divorce hands ever played by Melinda French Gates.
100% it is. Yeah.
But like, if there is anything to do with Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein, we're gonna find out. And if we do find out, dude, I'm telling you,
how are we gonna find out? We haven't found out anything.
She's got him over the barrel, and this
I don't
is
think she
all
has
about
evidence
Epstein
of child
and.
porn. Do you think she has evidence of
Well,
child porn and stuff?
I don't know.
Like, look,
I have no
Bill
idea.
Bill Clinton hasn't been taken to task. Fucking who's that lawyer? Remember the lawyer? No,
Yeah.
Dershowitz hasn't been taken to task. Trump hasn't
What a
been taken to
greasy
task.
fuck Alan
Epstein
Dershowitz is
committed
too.
suicide. You don't kill Epstein, and then you then you make it so Bill Gates takes some fall. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I think we're really jumping the gun here. I don't even like to call people that are the richest people in the world pedophiles.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But it's fun to think about in a terrible way, like, because I've been like anti everything to do with Bill Gates being a dirtball for a long time. I just thought he was a super fucking nerd. I didn't read into this stuff. I still don't think that he's a crazy. I don't know, but like, it's starting to percolate. Not just the rumors of him being a hound dog, which, by the way, I'm kind of cool with. Like, I'm cool with him being a hound dog.
The most richest man in the world.
He was just, and Locke's right. I was reading like 6 or 7 of these accounts, and he would send like ladies at Melinda at their foundation, like people that worked at the foundation to do good. He would send them a note. It's like, hi, it's Bill. Just wondering if you want to go for dinner, maybe some sex. Maybe we can read some books later on biology. Maybe I can be in you and you can be in me.
He must
just throwing it out there, and if it's an issue, then let me know, and I'll just never email you again. That's how he would approach women in the foundation. And his wife had to be cool with it the whole time for 27 years. She knew about it.
Hell yeah.
And I go back to the one thing. Epstein's name keeps coming up, so it's got to be something. Or
so do you think
she's fucking so mad?
Don't forget
do you think
that
she went with him to
the one thing about sorry, Bondzee, but just quickly, one thing about Epstein that is really kind of the root of all of this is that they think that he was a spy. They think that he was like collecting information on powerful people, right? That was that's the working theory about why this person who didn't have any background in finance was so rich and why he seemed to have all these powerful friends. And they think he worked in intelligence. Could have been America, could have been Israel. For either United States or for Israel, right? That's the knock on him. That's the theory. Why else would this guy who didn't have a background in anything become so wealthy and have all these powerful friends? So apparently the thing that he did was apparently record people without them knowing, and then he'd have the goods on them, and then they'd be able to use them like a useful idiot sort of thing.
So we haven't had any like solid evidence of that. And do you think maybe
I don't think
death
there's any evidence of that
was buried? Like they buried all that?
Well, I don't think he committed suicide. So, but you can't start theorizing. So that's a theory. That's not my theory. That's a theory.
Yeah.
But it's plausible. I have no idea what the truth is about that guy, but he's got his strength. You should, anyone listening to this should look up what Eric Weinstein has to say about Jeffrey Epstein, because he met with him. That's like Peter Thiel's business partner, and he met with him and said that, and it's actually his theory, I think, and said that he seems like a man who is like it's everything in his life is a big charade. And, there's always been rumors about him recording people. And this isn't QAnon shit. This is the shit they cling to say that, the world is run by pedophiles. But, he was apparently an intelligence figure. of some sort.
Maybe he was. I just think of the fallout, like all the QAnon guys. If anything happens with Bill Gates, they'll be so stoked.
Oh yeah, that's
they'll
the
be
thing
like
that makes
fucking
this
so
interesting.
pumped. Yeah,
is how everybody, like even the CNN, the purchase of the railway.
Just to recap, in the divorce proceedings, it came out that he owns, like, Bill Gates owns 13.25% of the voting shares for Canadian National Railway, CN.
Yeah,
and that's in his divorce proceedings because his wife's like, I want half the railroads. And they're like, he's got a lot of them. And then everybody's like, because he's anti-pipeline, and he's anti-pipeline because he wants to be able to move things by rail and make money that way. That's how they all do stuff, right? Same thing with Berkshire Hathaway and Buffett. They do the same things, but it's all coming out in the divorce proceedings. And I wonder if she's using the Epstein card to get all of it, right? To get as much as she fucking can. I get it. I dig it.
Sure, a divorce proceeding. You guys all think that this is a divorce. This came out because of the divorce proceedings, right? Like we're all in agreement on that. I hope. Yeah.
Okay. Huge.
Oh, for sure. It just makes it fun to watch everyone that is already got him up, like with the horns on. Up on some sort of devil pedestal that to get them all wound up. Yeah,
it was like when the AstraZeneca thing was paused, all the QAnon people were like, we told you it killed you guys, you fucking losers, we told you. And you're like, oh, and now all of a sudden Bill Gates and the Epstein stuff starting to percolate. I'm like, there'll be no living with QAnon now.
Melinda too, right?
Yeah.
I gotta get Grant. I told you Grant from the Locker Room, my co-host.
Yeah,
he has a buddy whose mom went down the QAnon like rabbit hole.
Oh, she'll be so stoked.
She used to read. He used to come in and read her Facebook page, and it just stopped suddenly a couple of months back. So we got to go back and see if maybe she's fired up again. It was awesome.
They believed Pizzagate. Okay, like if you can believe Pizzagate, and part of their evidence was all those emails that was leaked to WikiLeaks, and they had all of these references to pizza and hot dogs, and they're like, that's the pedophile code for little boys and little girls. So every time any one of these emails said pizza or hot dogs, they were like, case closed, pedophiles.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world.
According to the people in Waco, especially that pastor we were talking about on a few podcasts ago, they believe that the whole Pizzagate thing was just a ruse to like hide the Pizzagate, but all the kids and these human traffickers are underground in Washington, and that's where they're all hidden in those
underground
secret tunnels and stuff.
Chud.
Makes sense.
They're all chuds,
Guys, it makes a lot of sense to me actually now that all the pizza pedophiles would be hiding in underground bunkers below the White House.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground diddlers.
Yeah, that's where they are.
That's a T-shirt.
Joe Rogan. I want to move on to Joe Rogan real quick. Not that I've never watched an episode of Joe Rogan's show. I've never listened to his podcast. Never once. Nope.
Wow.
He's decent. He is. He goes on too long, in my opinion. But
some of his podcasts are like 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Is that what like, fuck, Jesus Christ, that must be so interesting for 4.5, 5 hours. But take nothing away from him. Dude got like 100 million to go and do his stuff with Spotify. He's allowed to say whatever he wants. He did it again. I believe it was this morning or yesterday.
He's been getting in trouble lately.
Can you get in trouble though if you're Joe Rogan? Like the guy makes $100 million and he's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants, say whatever he wants. He's got no regulatory body to say.
He's been in trouble 3 or 4 times.
It's people that don't like what he says. Like, listen, I've never listened to him.
Spotify employees that don't like what he says. That's the problem.
But we're dealing with
conspiracy. I think they're doing it on purpose.
I do too, and I think it's the woke crowd. And I agree with some things that I've heard him say about the wokes being more annoying than the crazies on the right. Depends on what you believe and where you're from. But Joe Rogan said something today, and I want to play it for you, where he opined that the woke culture is coming for the straight white man, which, listen, I'll say pretty much anything. I wouldn't say that right now. That's for fucking sure. Have a listen.
You can never be woke enough. That's the problem. It keeps going. It keeps going further and further and further down the line. And if you get to the point where you capitulate, where you agree to all these demands, it will eventually get to straight white men are not allowed to talk.
Right.
Because it's your privilege to express yourself when other people of color have been silenced throughout history. It will be, you're not allowed to go outside. because so many people were imprisoned for so many years. I mean, I'm not joking.
No, I know.
It really will get there. It's that crazy. You
Yeah.
know, we just got to be nice to each other, man. And there's a lot of people that are taking advantage of this weirdness in our culture, and then that becomes their thing. Their thing is calling people out for their privilege, calling people out for their position. You know, it's fucking crazy times.
Yeah, most definitely. But
Can I make a comment about the last little thing that he mentioned? I've sort of been honing in on that lately. I have a couple of people that follow me, and anytime there's anything that they can get woke on, jump on, they're on it. And it's a handful of people. And I think he's right. I think there are people that do that. I don't necessarily believe with the front end.
What do you think he's right about? What do you think he's right about?
I think he's right about the idea, the perception that that he has, that there are people out there that are doing this. It's a pastime, that this over woke thing, and they're mining for opportunities to show how woke they are. Right? Dean had to go take a leak. James, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about this.
Well, let me preamble this by saying that I think it's important to remember that it doesn't matter if you think it means this or that, but you just have to talk about what is actually sort of taking place. And I think what Joe Rogan was talking about is that whether we have an excuse for it or not, you can get away with certain types of speech against straight white guys that you cannot get away with any other demographic. It doesn't work.
And that's true.
Oh, but hold on. But so
it's totally true.
It is true. So he's talking about that. What I think he means, and I'm certainly not going to try to speak for Joe Rogan, but what I got out of that was that if we stay on that trajectory where we're like, and I said this to you guys off air, you know, Huffington Post writes articles like 10 things that stupid white men need to shut up about. Whatever, you know, that exists. But if you replace white men with any other demographic that exists in the whole, it's hate speech.
Give us a couple of examples, James.
I think that's what. Well, I think that's what he's. Yeah, right. I think that's what he's saying, right? If I was Ricky Gervais, I'd find a way to do it.
Yeah,
but I'm not. But you know what I mean? Like, and so some people, it gets them all riled up. Like, why can they say that about us and we can't say that about them? And they're, you know, and there's those people. But
I don't hear that in Alberta at all.
Yeah, right. But then there's logical people that are just like, okay, I get it. We're the oppressors. And so this is the way that you're ushering in this era of retribution. It's not really reparations now. It's morphed into sort of vengeance. It's an overcorrection, whatever. I guess you can let the baby have their bottle and let them do it. But I think what he's saying is if it maintains this trajectory, like, dude, I've been to dinner parties with CBC HR personnel that are like, you know, I tell them, like, you know, I joke with them. This is like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I joked with him and said, yeah, I don't even bother sending my resume to you guys anymore because I never get an answer. And she, without missing a beat, just looks at me as she's cutting her meat. She's like, yeah, you're a white guy. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, you know, we really
white people. Yeah,
we really focus on qualified people of color and women. Like, and legit, that's what, you know, and that's the way it is. And I don't know what to call it.
But should we be butthurt by that if you're a straight white guy or a white person that they're trying to get better representation? I don't.
What if we're not butthurt, but we still think it's worth talking about?
Yeah.
You know,
like I listened to Joe say what he said, and I have two thoughts. One is he's an entertainer. He's entertaining, and he's starting a fire with a hypothetical, right? That's what people do. We take these hypotheticals and we supercharge them, and they go, what if this might happen? This is where we're going. And then they live in that reality to whip up the base, right? Like that's all the straight white guys that have a problem with the woke left and the ultra woke left, all those straight white guys, the MMA guys that he caters to, they took that and they're like, yeah, man, fuck the woke people. Fuck everybody. Fuck, I'm a straight white dude. And as a straight white man who sat back and really just tried to listen for a couple of years, I don't care that much. Like, I don't care about where my opinion puts me in the big scheme of things, and if I should be heard or not be heard according to the color of my skin and sexual preference, which is why I never cared about all the other people to begin with anyway. Like, to me, it was, you're a dude, I'm a dude, you're gay, I'm straight, that's a chick, she's straight, she's got one arm, that guy's in a wheelchair, we're all people. Who gives a fuck? But it's the identity. It's trying to curate this argument by playing the identity card and saying "woe's us." I don't give a fuck about the past. I don't give a fuck about me. I don't give in my opinion in the world. And you know what? Sometimes, and I was thinking about this today. Sometimes it's okay for us to not have a fucking opinion on something. Right? Doesn't matter what color your skin is. But if there's a group that needs to be started for straight white guys who feel oppressed, I feel so fucking sorry for them. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We've had it pretty fucking good for a long period of time. And because someone says, shut up, white guy, do I find that racist? In the big scheme of things, I guess it qualifies as racist. Like, I was at a weed show not long ago, and there's a woman walking around that says, it had a pin, and it said old white guys in the middle. It had a circle like Ghostbusters and a line through it. She didn't like old white guys. And I'm like, whatever. I don't give a fuck, because I was 44 at the time. I didn't consider myself old. But it was. But you know what? What purpose does that have in a conversation? The purpose is use a hypothetical. You create some buzz. Everybody talks about it like you're talking about him now, and more people watch, more people download the show. Because the one thing that plays right now, and I think we sort of got sidetracked by it, Locke, when we were having that conversation yesterday about heavy shit. You know what plays right now is that stuff. People want to be outraged. They want to find a new thing to fucking lose it. I think Joe played everybody today. That's what I think he did. Yeah, no, I think it's an absolute joke.
I'll go back to what James was commenting about. I am okay with the, what do you call it? The rebounds, the overcorrection. I'm fine with it, right? Yeah. You can be absolutely, you can go after the women and the minorities and ignore the white guys. I live in a house where I'm Phil Dunphy, right? Like, I mean, it's the last bastion of making fun of anybody, and I'm wearing the hat. Fine with it. If I'm sitting down at a dinner table for CBC and the woman that hires people says, you're not going to even get a call because you're white and you're male, that's where I got a problem with it. Because not because it's true, because we know it's true. James already knew it was true. He was just bringing it up to be a dick.
Yeah.
The problem I have with it is
that's not true. That's not true. I swear to God, this is 10 years ago.
Come on.
Yeah.
James on
10 years ago, guys, come on. 10 years ago, we were not.
They've been doing it for 20 years, James, maybe even longer. But all I'm saying is, and I shouldn't put words in your mouth, James. I shouldn't put words in your mouth. The problem
you should. It's way more fun when you do that.
The problem I have with it is, if it's true, just don't tell me, right? And don't make a spectacle of it at a dinner party, right? Mm-hmm. We're flipping it we're flipping the script. Fine, let's flip the script.
No.
But at the end of the day, it does need to rebound back a little bit to the point where, listen, doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what's between your legs. If you're the right person for the job, you should be that person.
Right? Okay, but can I just let me just I think that it's really important to point out like two things. One of the things is that you can't there's a dopamine rush that people get when they realize that they can literally use hate speech against a certain group of people. When that's permitted and they are able to spot opportunity, and they're able to spot opportunities where they're like, oh, great, let's hear from the fucking straight white guy again. They fucking love that. It's a spike for them. They fucking crave that shit, right? And so here's the problem. If they
crave that, sorry, James, let me ask you. Do they crave? No, hang on. No, I need to clear something up. Do they crave the attention from making that statement, or do they crave just being able to shit on straight white guys?
I think it's both. I think they work in tandem because I think they want to virtue signal, right? And then they want to feel like, holy fuck, I'm unaccountable right now, and it's okay. Like, imagine that power, right? Like, I couldn't imagine it. But the second thing, and I think this is the more important, is that the reason why it matters is because society built in a check to the balance, right? And so racism is still alive and well and everything, but clearly it's better than it was 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 150 years ago. The trajectory is not very steep. We should be doing better. All that shit is true. But if we don't put people in check for using bigoted language against people for the color of their skin, we don't have to equate it with hating black people. It's still a form of bigotry that for some reason is being accepted. And if we don't push back on that, then the trajectory that I think Joe Rogan was talking about is plausible. Like,
I don't agree.
How is it going to self-correct? Who's going to self-correct it? And why would you
really think that like some of the biggest minorities are going to go after the biggest majority, and all of a sudden straight white guys won't be allowed to leave their house? Because that's what he was saying.
Okay.
He was like, we won't be allowed to leave our houses.
All right, I'm not going to.
All we do is fuck girls, and we're white.
I'm not going to cherry pick that one thing, because I think what he was saying was, because I'm not going to be a literalist, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it was a planned statement. I think he was freestyling, because he talks about this shit all the time.
Yeah.
And and
for effect, it worked.
Well, whatever. We do things like that people might accuse us of being for effect, but we're just freestyling most of the time. But okay. I don't think, if you take away like the literalist statement of we won't be able to leave our house, I think what he's saying is true. And I think it's already happening. And I think we all know it's happening. I think,
sure it is. I don't have a problem with it either. Like, that's the thing.
I have a problem with it because it's hypocritical. It's just because we have different histories.
I agree with James.
Because listen, it all is rooted in that, and it's a Marxist concept. I'm not just being hyperbolic, that the world is divided between oppressed and oppressors. And you can treat the oppressors with verbal fucking carnage, and you can't do that to the oppressed, because then you're punching down. And everything's rooted in that. So, of course, they think it's okay. And if you don't check that balance, if you're not able to like push back against that, I don't know what the future holds. I'm not saying Joe Rogan is right about the one sentence he said at the end, but I don't know what the future holds, but it's probably not that great. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
for white guys? Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is it people like, listen.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You keep saying for white guys.
When
you got your bonuses at the edge, I did not get an erection. There was nothing in it for me. So there's no club. There's no white club where we get dividends when other white people do well in life. Yeah. So we need to stop looking at it like that. Historical context as a collective, Yeah. You grew up in a trailer.
I always have a hard time with this conversation because,
you grew up in a trailer park.
I'm not privileged at all, and I get lumped into that. I mean, I've been lucky, but everything I fucking have, I've worked my nuts off for.
Yeah.
So, and I've gone out of my way to make sure that I set up my girls, right? I was paying off student loans until I was 30. Right? I'm literally going to have to work until I'm fucking 90. Like, I will never be able to stop fucking working.
But you know what it is I think it's just specifically for Rogan. He knows. Like, he knows who he's talking to. He knows what those guys want. He knows it's the guy with the affliction shirt. Yeah. That loves to smoke pot and kratom and all the other shit.
The thing is, though, I want to give Rogan. I think Rogan has an audience, and I think that audience is obviously everyone has a perception of what the Rogan audience is.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens in radio, right? You reach a certain level and and then you have an event and your salespeople come out. This might be a story that I'm relaying about my life. And they go, who are these people? And you go, this is our fucking audience that you should be selling to.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody that listens to The Locker Room wears a Budweiser cap and drives a jacked up truck, for the love of God. Some people just like to be entertained. Same thing with Rogan. His audience is clearly diverse. He has millions of downloads. But I think the Spotify move has cut into that. And I think that he's doing strategically, I think he's dropping a couple of these bombs in and being over the top with some of his statements.
Totally.
To get the sound bites, to get people to come back to his podcast. Because
and listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with him wondering those things out loud. Like, that's the thing is that, listen, Do you need to say it now? Probably not. Is there anything wrong with what he asked? Because he's just, it wasn't like he was running anybody down or getting after everybody. He was just sharing a perspective of a straight white male, which not many people appreciate now, to the point where he sort of proved his own point, right? Everybody has an issue with what he said. Like
that's why if he did it strategically, it was brilliant because it worked.
Right? So do I.
People are
think it was good.
People are talking about it, and it's really easy to defend. So,
from one guy who's doing well to someone who isn't,
especially when you got four guys on, four white guys.
Straight
it's
white
so
dudes.
easy to defend that comment.
Yeah, I don't have
of course
a
it
problem
is.
with
If anybody knows white people, it's us. You know?
Yeah. If anybody knows straight white people, hello.
Listen,
these four straight white guys.
Listen, people of color, you haven't lived my experience as a privileged white guy. You have no idea.
The only reason I'm not a cop these days is because I'm a white male, and I couldn't get hired years ago when I tried to get into the cop world.
Let's be serious here. You probably have another couple of red flags in your background and your history that precludes you from being an officer of the law, Bondzee.
That's not true. Dude,
come on.
Honestly,
I could be an undercover. Maybe
it's not true. I had a clear record. I've never been in trouble with the law, really. But nothing that would keep me from being a cop. What kept me from being a cop was this pretty blue-eyed white boy. And I was told I applied to like at least 10 different police things around Ontario and Canada, and the number one reason why I didn't get hired, and I was told, was because you are white, you are not female, and you are not of a different color.
But you shouldn't be pissed by that. Like, there's been no representation in policing up until the last 15 years. And so they had a quota. They wanted to change it. They needed to be better represented by people from around this country that are all kinds of different sexes and races. I mean, it just makes sense. Representation is not a bad thing. To hear
for
that
job, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
At least you're hearing that. Those people wouldn't even hear that. Like, a black guy 15, 20, 30 years ago was there like, we're not hiring you. Oh, thanks for, you know what he would get? He would get, thanks for the resume. And he'd never get a phone call. At least you got an answer, right? Your answer was, we're only hiring people of color and women right now because we have too many white guys on the force. So just so you know,
I would like to ask a quick question. Bondzee, were you trying to get into the police force before or after your swim in the hot tub at the Swingers Club in Toronto?
Long before. That was after my marriage and everything was over. Well, you guys you just love that story, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Well, only one of the four of us has had a hot tub in a swingers joint. Yeah,
this guy had a buffet at a swingers club.
I went for the tacos.
Immune to everything.
So Bondzee and I talked last night, and just so everybody knows, Greg is like the nicest guy in the world. He is traveling around the United States. He bought a Prevost van. It's like a tour, but what's that?
Oh, I didn't know Bondzee's name until just now.
Yeah, Bondzee.
It's Greg.
Hey,
Greg Bond.
Yeah, you've called me Greg a couple times on the show.
No, I forgot your name then. Sorry, Bondzee.
Gregory.
That's awesome that you just. So Gregory called me, guys. This is serious. Okay. Gregory called me yesterday, and because I saw a tweet from him, he's like, "I'm grinding," and I'm like, "I gotta call the guy." And this is literally as honest as conversations we had, because this is exactly what I said to him last night. I'm like, "I'm calling you because I'm a little worried about you," and you're like, "Bro."
Yeah, you called me.
Yeah, and he's officially, not that we didn't call it, tapping out. He's had it in Texas. He can't fucking keep up in Texas because. No, and listen, I get it. And we had a conversation last night, but I want to hear more, because the chat we had last night was a man in the throes of going, fuck, I cannot party like this. I didn't come down here to party like this.
It's true. I didn't. And before I came down here, I was off the booze for 4 months. I was microdosing, which it's a game changer. And I miss it so much. Yeah. And it really, really changed my life. It's what gave me the motivation and the confidence to come down here. I was off the booze. I was microdosing. I was just smoking some good ganja back in Ontario. And I felt really good about myself for the first time, probably since 2009, when I saw that kid get hit and killed by the train. And I fucking hated myself after that. I blamed myself for not being there and saving him earlier. And my life just went downhill after that. And I didn't realize that it was going downhill, and I was self-destructing myself for, God, 6-7 years. And then I finally, when I got diagnosed with PTSD and I started to turn my life around, I still even after my diagnosis, I still drank like a motherfucker. I did drugs that I'm not proud of. You know, and I was just trying to run and hide from the demons that were controlling my life. And booze helped, but it also made it worse. And then, you know, down in Nicaragua, I got into a bit of the stuff for a bit, and it would
the booger sugar, the nose candy.
Yeah,
Did you get
a little
into
bit.
the nose candy. Yeah,
I did, and I can say I was never addicted to it, but I was using it too much.
I heard a great word for Coke the other day, and I thought I'm like, that's a fucking awesome way. Nose beers.
I just heard that today for the first time on TikTok.
I've never heard
Some dude called it nose
I've never
beer.
heard that before.
Yeah,
I never heard it.
I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Yeah, a mutual friend. He's into the nose beers," and I'm like, "What the fuck's a no? Oh, Coke. Yes, I get it. Nose beers.
That's a pretty good one. Some bitch on TikTok had fingernails like this long, and Buddy was doing a duet with it, and he's like, "Man, I bet you could smash some serious nose beers with those nails."
Yeah, I got it.
First time I heard
Yeah,
it.
we saw
Anyways,
her clip yesterday on the show. Go on.
I got it because Coke is not good, and I really found that
How much Coke were you doing?
I wasn't doing a lot. I mean, I was the guy that could buy a gram and I could make it last for 3 days. I wasn't the guy who had to just go and get it.
I just
all
gave
up
myself
into me
away as a
right
big
away.
drug addict. So like, I never went to
No,
bed with it again.
I'm
Without the
not proud that I did that stuff, but I am proud that I never let it run my life. I did it too much for sure. I think any of it's too much, to be honest with you. But it was at that time for me. It was a crutch. It was helping me get through the days and run from the demons. And I finally kicked that. Then I kicked the booze, which was a big thing because booze is a depressant, man. We all know that. And it was, you can run and hide from those demons and the beers will chase them away. But guess what? Those fuckers come right back first thing in the morning, you know? And so coming down here, it's been a grind, and I'm alone. I'm the filmer, I'm the talent, I'm the editor, I'm the downloader of the content, and then you got to put it all out there as well. And I just got to the point where I was burnt out, and I felt like I couldn't keep up, and so I turned back to drinking a bit. And I'm not proud of it because I was fucking doing so good without the booze in my life. And I found down here that, you know, and I'm not blaming anybody, believe me, but it was really cool to see old school friends. And the first thing you do is you go for drinks, you have beers and stuff. And yeah, I enjoyed that, but I let it get too far. I was waking up in the morning, and the first thing I would do is fucking crack a beer and start editing or start writing and I was just like, what are you doing, dude?
Morning beers.
Morning
they're
beers,
so
dude.
good. I
don't tasty. I'm not gonna lie, but
I do
you know, it's
not
certainly morning beers turns into more beers.
Sidetrack us here on the healthy
Sorry,
side
do you
of the
have
conversation.
on Saturday or Sunday? When will you have your first beer?
Kate, now
he's a noon guy. Look at
this isn't about me, guys. Okay.
I've admitted my alcoholism countless times on this program and my radio show. And the one thing that kind of saved me is from the abuse was the afternoon drive. Oh my God. That was killing me because about 2 or 3 nights a week, I had to take a cab home because we were getting hammered on the air. Like we were getting shit-faced on a regular basis. So now we're we pick our spots because it's morning, right? And it's a different show and it's a little bit more involved. And but I'll tell you, there's every couple of times a month we'll crack a beer on the morning show and have that morning buzz, and there is nothing like it. It is just fantastic. And there are weekends that I wake up and I'll have a Caesar or maybe some Baileys in the coffee and get the day going. But yeah, I generally try to pump the brakes until the afternoon. Right, generally,
yeah. But it produces that morning beer is the perfect 2 p.m. nap creator, right?
Yeah. I'm not a napper. I would just keep going and keep going and going and going.
So how much? So you crack a morning beer. You'd have a morning beer, but then like where would you end it, and how many drinks would you be having during the day? Because this is only new. Like Bondzee kicked the booze like a few days ago again. and he's trying to get his shit together, which I'm super proud of you for, right? You recognize it's an issue. You're like, I got to fucking put the clamp on it, and I got to make sure that I live my life and get the shit done I need to get done, which is great. Locke isn't there yet, right? But he operates like he's an operator, right? And he's not sad. He's a happy guy. But like there's
functioning.
Yeah, there's functional portion of that too. But how many drinks were you having a day? Like if you had your first beer in the morning at like 8, 9 o'clock, where would you end?
Depends how many I had in the fridge. Either a 12 or an 18 pack could be dusted in a day, no problem. And then I'm a big wine guy. I love my wine. So beers most of the day till about supper time, and then you crack the wine open, and it'd be nothing to dust a magnum of wine every night as well. While I'm just sitting here, and I was a functioning alcoholic too. I was still working my ass off and getting shit done, but I found I was less productive, and I would get more distracted when I was drunk, and it would be nothing to just grab the phone and, I'm just going to check this out for a second. And the next thing you know, 2 hours later, you've looked at Instagram, TikTok, the rest of the bullshit, or talk to people. And now you've wasted 2 hours. Whereas before at home with no booze and microdosing, I was hyper-focused. And another shitty thing is corresponding with it, the microdosing really helped me kick the booze. It just made me feel so much better, more confident, more focused, and I didn't really want or crave the alcohol. Now, coming down here, I didn't have that luxury at first. Then I got my hands on some, and I was microdosing again. Almost I got into 2 weeks, and sadly, this idiot here threw away 2 ounces of mushrooms the other day by accident.
What the fuck? Who did that? Kill that fucker.
I know, dude. I was golfing in a charity golf tournament. A friend of a friend put on this charity golf tournament. I was on the 3rd or 4th hole. I had a bunch of shit in my bag. I wanted to empty it. A garbage can was right there. Grabbed it all, threw it in the garbage can. Well, one of those black bags was filled with 2 ounces of mushrooms that are now gone.
Did it?
Yeah, I threw them out by accident.
Spoken in the third person, so I thought it was your friend or something. So
sorry, no, I'm
the
one who threw them out, and
I
missed
bad timing, James. Bad timing.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, because I was looking forward to smashing some mushrooms with you and doing a podcast, but I will be searching for some more. Anyways, I guess moving on.
I know.
Can I?
Colorado. I'll hook you up.
Can I say something, Bondzee?
Yeah.
I have something that I would like to say that might or may not make you feel better about the situation that you're in right now.
You're fucked.
Now we've had not quite. We've had you on now since you've been down there. How long have you been in Texas?
I've been here over a month now.
Yeah. It's been 6, 7, 8 weeks or something like that.
I've been on the road for almost 2 months, and I'd say out of those 2 months, I've been here 6 weeks.
Yeah, and pretty much every week Dean's had you on, right?
Yep.
And knowing what we know about you, I've never met you, but I feel like I've gotten to know you just based on doing this podcast with you on a fairly regular basis. And when I found out you were in Texas, and now that you're going to Colorado, I think we need to focus on the positives here. And I think the positive is that most of us that have spent time with you on the podcast thought you were going to die in Texas. So if you leave Texas,
that's fair.
Yeah. And you're,
dude, do you remember like 2 weeks
breathing
ago when we were like, dude, you look like shit. And you're like, I feel great, guys. I feel great.
Yeah.
You didn't.
And that's what you do as an alcoholic. You lie to yourself. And dude, I was probably up since 6 that morning when you guys said, oh, you look like shit. I probably was fucking 10 beers deep at that point. And you wouldn't know it. Well,
we did call it like for you to say you would never know it. You had 2 guys here going, you're fucked.
I mean,
dude.
I wasn't like slurring.
You're totally fucked. And you're like,
stuff like
you guys didn't have a clue. We're like, no, we're looking at you. You look pecked.
Bondzee, your complexion was the same complexion as those Chinese sun drenched, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look
enough.
like shit.
Oh, like a menu that a Chinese food place puts in the window and they leave it there for like 10 years. And you're like,
that's right.
Can't
that
see
was Bondzee
how's
shit.
the Sioux guy? Yeah.
You know what, Bondzee? Here, and all kidding aside, no more fucking around here. You're a good guy, right? You're self-aware. I think you have a handle on what you can and can't get away with. You'll figure it out. you'll get yourself back on track.
Well, dude, did you hear what he's doing? Do you know what he's doing? Just tell everybody what you're doing. Because I love this idea. Like he's literally like our conversation last night was about how to remedy the situation, and he's already taken steps. But tell him what you're going to do, and he's still going to keep working, but it's going to be different. So go ahead, Bondzee.
Yeah, it will be a little different. Instead of the daily grind down here and trying to go to different spots in Texas and finding this cool spot and this cool spot and trying to make good content, I am burnt out and I need to get back on track physically, mentally. And it's only about 15-hour drive up to Colorado. And listen, I lived in Banff for 2 years. I love the mountains. I love the fresh air. And my dad, I had a great chat with my dad 2 nights ago. And he's like, son, you should go to Colorado. I had the greatest time there when I was younger. I went there on business and it's just so beautiful. And then I talked to my manager yesterday and he's like, Bondzee, I think you need to get the hell out of Texas. It's hot. You're not doing yourself any favors, and there's just too much nonsense here for me. So
hang on. I got to figure this out. These guys are both laughing. Are you laughing because he said he has a manager? Is that why you're laughing?
No, we're laughing because his manager. No, we're laughing because his manager's name is Manager Obvious. Hey, I think you might want to maybe spend some time outside of Texas for a bit.
That was what I was laughing at because everybody that I know that knows Bondzee was like, "This Texas."
And wait, can I Bondzee?
Man. Like all of us.
That being said, Texas loves me, and I love Texas.
No, you
don't. Bondzee, even though it might send you into a relapse, can you please find Hunter S. Thompson's place and hang out there for a couple of days? Because he's right outside of Aspen or something. So
technically he was shot out of a cannon. He's kind of all over the place.
That's right, but it's all over the place.
So I'm going to go up to Colorado. I'm going to clear my head. I'm going to start doing a lot more voice acting work. Start getting some money rolling in again. I'm going to go up there and get some nice legal weed and hopefully some nice some mushrooms and start microdosing again, and just kind of clear my head and stay off the booze. Go up there and just chill out in the mountains. It's a long drive. I'm not going to do it in a day or two. I still got some shit to roll up through Texas up in the north that I'll go check out and stuff. But I'm looking forward to going up to Colorado. And then from Colorado, I'm going to spend about a month there, I think is the plan. And then from there, the drive from Colorado to LA is beautiful. You go through Utah, Vegas. And so that's the plan. I'm going to go see my oldest son out there in about a month. My youngest might come and join me in Colorado for a bit and drive with me to LA, which would be super cool. I just need to get back on track and fuck the booze. And I'm a firm motherfucker. When I set my mind to shit, I do it. And
dude, we know you're in a bus in Texas that you fucking souped up. We know that.
Oh, we believe in you.
Yeah. I know so many people that would have cloud talked this one and never gone, but Jesus Christ, you did it, dude.
I just need to change of plans, and not everything happens as planned, as we all know. And I think it's just time to bounce from Texas for a bit. And I'll never say I won't come back, but I just need to go and get out of I think this fucking heat down here is pretty crazy too. Not that I love your ass,
dude. You lost to Texas. You lost.
No, I didn't. I don't lose anything, man, and that's how I feel.
You went to Texas
I don't feel like
for a good time, and Texas has you on your knees.
No, I had a great time in Texas. I got to shoot hogs. I got to see some cool stuff. I interviewed
Texas
some cool
raped you. It's okay to admit it.
Yeah.
No,
you can admit it. You lost.
I don't understand why you guys see it like that.
Don't listen to these guys, Bondzee. This is what happened. This is what happened. Why Bondzee's going to Colorado is because Texas didn't eat him, and it frightens him that that's the case. Yeah. I'm not being funny. I think that you could probably handle living in Texas and consuming all this, and that's what fucking bothers you. I
love Texas. I could live here in a hot minute for sure.
You could become the fat. You could become the fattiator like fucking Russel Crowe.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have you guys seen him, Russel Crowe?
You're welcome.
I put out a tweet today. And the tweet was, I want to give as few fucks as Russel Crowe. Excellent segue.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
And it had hundreds of thousands of hits because everybody couldn't believe that this is Russel Crowe now.
Wow.
The Gladiator.
Look at that, man.
Big sex.
How old is he? He's got to be in his 60s now, eh?
He's late 50s.
Late 50s? Okay.
No, he's 60, isn't he?
I don't know. I think he's late 50s. Look at his shirt. Look at his fucking shirt.
No fucks given at all.
Oh, wow. I'm going to look up how old he is.
57.
57. Oh, wow. That's pretty. That's younger than I thought he was.
But this is like, apparently, now I did some reading on this as well. He got fat for that Roger Ailes movie, and he loves being fat so much. He's only taking fat roles now. Like that's he's the fat guy. So he's got like Christmas in a bag, no big deal. He'll do a bunch of Santa movies.
It looks like he hasn't seen a role he hasn't liked in a while now.
Yeah,
well,
cinnamon roll.
Oh, look at that shit.
Looks like some jam, some ketchup.
Just out there having a smoke. Like, and
This
this is my
like not
fear.
his costume though. Like he's not. Look,
I don't know.
think he's working. I think
Might
he's
be.
working. Look at the set behind him.
No, I've seen other. It's not a fat suit. David thinks it's a fat suit. I've seen other pictures of him. He is not looking good. His latest movie that came out, the one where it's called Road Rage or something like that.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
big in that. He doesn't look good in that at all. And that's not a fat suit
No.
in that role. So I think this is just an extension of sort of a path that he is on.
Yeah.
That's a serious waistline right there. Like, Jesus Christ, he's fucking huge.
You know what's going to happen? A lot of times too, I
have a fucking heart attack. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know if this is what happened to him, but he worked out like heavy duty for a lot of the roles, like the Gladiator and everything like that. And then you have a certain body mass, and if you don't maintain it, it can get it.
Wow. He just doesn't give a fuck. Look at that.
She is hot as hell.
He's got his hand in his ass.
He's got his hand in his ass crack.
Look at her.
And he's giving his phone number to a hot chick. The reason why I put this on, like, this is exactly what's happening. Do you think he gives a fuck? I don't think he cares.
Next,
I really
next
don't.
frame,
You want to
he's gonna
smell my
smell
ass
his
sweat?
hand. Next frame, he's going to smell his hand.
Yeah, that's right.
He's going to pull that out, and he's going to do one of.
Yeah.
It's right, mate. That's a stinky finger. Hi.
It's COVIDly delicious.
Yeah, maybe he's just sick of working out, and he's like, I'm just doing the fat guy roles now. That is unfucking believable, though, and I've never seen him fatter.
That's
huge. That's
But
amazing.
incredible.
He could lose that in 6 months with intermittent
Yeah.
fasting and shit like that. Like he could do it.
Oh, I don't know.
couldn't.
6 months is a stretch, dude.
That's a lot of weight for 6 months.
Yeah,
I lost 60 pounds in 7 months, so he could do it for sure.
yeah. That's because you were on drugs in a catatonic state.
Listen, 50 milligrams of methamphetamine a day is not really taking drugs. No. I'm
No.
just kidding.
Are you serious? Did you do meth to lose weight?
Yeah, he did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he did. He told me he did. He's like, I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
meth.
Yeah,
Hey.
taking meth. Yeah, I would
Hey,
have
look
said
at
it like that.
look
Oh my
at
God,
look at how
he is.
sweaty he is. Look at the sweat. This is him after like literally walking to the car.
Wow. I all of a sudden I don't feel fat anymore.
You know you're
I'm
fat.
looking pretty good.
You know you're fat when the sweat is like all it's changed the color of your clothing, and you got that sweaty walking to get your car from the valet guy.
Oh, the movie was Unhinged. Thank you, Positive Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And that looks like a scene or an outfit that he wore in the movie Unhinged.
You know what he looks like? He looks like he's about to play the role of one of the bushwhackers. Remember that wrestling?
Yeah.
The tag team? That's what he looks like to me. Look at them. Oh my God. That poor man.
That is unbelievable.
Poor, rich, privileged man who has sex with beautiful women. That poor man.
I should not laugh. I'm about 6 months of Arby's away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lachlan giving his wife her phone one day.
Jeez, I want her number.
I don't. I really want to know what he's got going down the back of his pants too. And this bothered. Like, see, this is a fear of mine. I work out now as much as I can because I started gaining some pandemic weight again. I'm like, you're getting fat again, dude. You got to lose weight. See it in my face all the time. And like, we're having to wear track pants is like one of my fears. Like having to wear them. The other. Like, because you can't wear anything else. The other one is I never want my gut to also go in my underwear.
Yeah.
You know, like where you're pulling the belt up,
Where you're
past your navel.
tucking your fat roll into your gaunch. Yeah.
Yeah, he should have an
strong move.
elastic band for those pants, right? You know,
Oh, man,
those
suspenders.
secret dress pants that are actually like stretchy. Yeah. That poor man.
Anyway, listen, I'm really is that Wood and
Jimmy.
Oh, Jesus
Jimmy.
Christ.
Oh, did he take that?
We're doing
He
a
looks
side by
good.
side.
Yeah, you gotta send that to me so we can put that on the actual thing. I'd love to see it. Anyway, Bondzee, listen, I hope that you get it together because you don't want to end up.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's got
I
this. Look
like
at
this guy.
Look at
I'm
the
not
fucking. Color in his face is
Successful,
back.
famous.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at
he
it.
looks
He's
better.
got a sparkle, and Bondzie's got a sparkle in his eye. You
Really
fucking got this. Get the
And I
hell out
started
of
that.
Texas.
I started that online book you sent me today, Dean, as well, while I was
Yeah.
driving up here to my next spot. So, yeah, I mean, I'm taking all the right steps. I'm glad that I figured it out 8 weeks. You know, I started drinking them pretty quickly into this trip, and then it just escalated. And now I realized it. I'm like, this can't continue the way it's going, or I'll be fucking in a gutter in Texas somewhere. So I'm glad
Living in
I smartened
Edmonton
up,
doing a
figured it
morning
out.
show.
I thank you for the phone
worse.
call yesterday, Dean. And I already knew.
I love
this was
talking
a
to
problem
people
again.
about. Listen, here's something not all the kids know. I'm fortunate enough to get a chance to talk to a lot of people that have addiction issues. You don't have an addiction issue yet, so get up to Colorado, start smoking that dope, that clean Colorado dope.
Yes,
Get
sir.
on the shroom regimen. Stay away
Yes,
from
sir.
the booze for a bit, just a bit.
You bet.
Couple months, couple weeks, whatever it is, and clear your head, because you don't need to be walking around chained to substance, right? You know, and booze, like, fuck, seriously, booze is base. Booze is like, it's what all the cretins do. They just get hammered all the time.
All right.
No offense to my boy
Slow
Locke.
down.
No offense.
Slow the roll.
No, but like, you want to be a cultured addict, so get addicted to, like, things that grow on the ground.
Well, I'm back.
Not a bad idea.
I'm on the chew, which is really good. I mean, I'm almost out of weed, I got one pipe left, so I need to find me some more gas station weed.
Okay,
I'm
get
out
off
of
the
my
fucking
mushrooms. I'm in a real fucking dire space here, man.
Well, I thought they had gas station weed all over Texas. Are you
Well,
leaving
not
Texas?
all over. You got to find the right gas station. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Hey, does Oregon border Colorado? Because you can get shrooms in Oregon.
let's see.
Like Oregon borders, if I'm not mistaken, it borders Idaho, California.
I just found out New Zealand was an island, so you guys
Yeah.
are on your own.
No, it doesn't. Utah, Wyoming, Kansas, Nebraska.
All right, well, just hang out at Hunter S. Thompson's house, and you'll probably find shrooms eventually. So.
I'll get him up in Colorado. I might even get him here. I mean, I still have my contact here. I'll be seeing him within a week. So,
Oh, we'll get him
hopefully-
here and put him in the wheel well. In the wheel well, everybody.
You guys missed the whole thing.
Oh man,
Locke
I did miss whatever
Locke
happened.
just realized that New Zealand was an island today, so
Yeah.
we're on our own for
Good for
geography
you,
in the
Locke.
States.
Attaboy.
He still thinks he lives in Saskatchewan.
No, I know I don't live in
Yeah.
Saskatchewan.
He's got that one down pat. Thanks, guys, for
figure
doing
that
this.
one out.
Congratulations.
That was
Great
fun
to see
today.
everybody. Yeah, it was
Bondzee,
good.
you look good, buddy. You look
Way
good.
better.
Thank
Fucking
you.
head
Yeah.
high. Get into
You bet.
yoga. Get some fucking exercise too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do hot yoga a lot, and
Yeah, it's good for you, man.
Maybe something I've been walking every morning. Went for a nice walk this morning with the dog, and then started my day with a smoothie, water, no coffee, no any substances at all.
Listen,
It's,
don't go fucking crazy.
go
That's the other
crazy.
thing. Like you're changing everything so
Yeah.
fast. You
That's
never
what Jason
fucking
said.
do that. Never do that.
Yeah.
Just don't drink
I'm
for
kind
a
of all
while.
in. Yeah, I'm an all-in guy. You know. Oops.
Yeah, I
Bondzee,
know,
yeah,
but
Bondzee,
that's
yeah,
why you fail, is because you run out of gas. You're like, I'm all in. I'm going to do all of these things. Don't do all these things. Just stop drinking for a while. Get up to Colorado. Get a campground by a river. Get a fishing rod.
Yeah.
Smoke your dope. Do
Have
your
some
writing.
have a cup of coffee. Fuck,
Yeah,
it's not
dude.
gonna fucking kill you.
Fuck coffee.
Have a
Go
little
for a
Arby's
walk.
every once in a while.
Yeah, grab some McDonald's. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Stay away from the booze
Just
for a bit. You'll be all right.
Stay away from shooting heroin into your cock.
Yeah.
Bondzee,
that
you know-
won't happen.
Bondzee, you know what you should do though? If you do get shrooms and you go to Colorado, we should both do a bunch
You're
of
on
shrooms
it today, man.
and do a live podcast. Let's do it.
I'm fully down with that. I
Yeah.
am. I thought about it, and I'm willing to do that for sure. I'm looking forward to doing some shrooms with you, James.
Okay, good. Well, we'll
Long distance
we'll-
shroom trip.
Let's
it's gonna
do
be
a
great.
meth podcast too. While we're
Not
at
bad.
it, let's fucking
Yeah.
open the lid wide
we're
open
doing
here.
it. We're doing it right now.
Let's
Don't-
do.
didn't
You know what we should do
Crystal,
is maybe
smoke some crystal.
smoke some
Yeah.
meth. Yeah,
Jesus Christ, you guys.
homemade meth. I got a lot of battery acid here. A lot of battery acid here. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being part of the show. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. You can get him on Twitter at Lachlan Cross. James DeFiore, Blackballed the podcast. Go check it out right now at DeanBlundell.com, wherever you get your fine podcasts as well. And yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I just want to. I was talking to him this morning. I'm not name dropping, but I want to send good vibes out to Noam Chomsky because he's had a health setback. I talked to him this morning, so I'm thinking about him. I'm hoping he's okay. We need his voice still. He's 92. I just hope he's.
Wish him well.
Yeah, wish Mr. Chomsky well for sure. Thank you.
I listened to the girl you had on the other. What's her name?
Jen Gerson.
Yeah, she's she didn't like you at all, did she?
No, not really. Yeah, but that's okay. I'm not very likable.
It was a good interview. I felt some tension there.
I have a feeling that is she married? Is Jen Gerson married?
Yeah, she's married. I thought she was being a little argumentative about. She was in defense of mainstream media, and I wasn't. But she was trying to make it seem like I was being angry about it. And I'm like, I'm just calling it what it is. That's all. Like, well, you're the media now, James. Just do your own thing. It's just like, all right, way to carry a conversation, bitch. You know,
you totally are doing your own thing. Fuck, man, you're like a trailblazer.
I'm trying my best. Thanks a lot, Jen. Jen, you're not a bitch. I was just kidding.
Yeah. Sort of.
I enjoyed it. I thought that was good tension. It was awesome tension. If she was doing it on purpose, she nailed it, which I think she was.
She got offended because I thought she handled a certain story wrong, the Patrick Brown thing. You know, I thought she was being used by the conservatives to do their bidding. And she didn't.
Where can I get your fucking podcast? Because I always have to go to your Facebook.
DeanBlundell.com.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You may have heard of it.
I know, but is it coming up on Apple yet?
It's on Spotify,
Soon.
but one podcast is on Spotify. Only one is on there. I don't know how to. Am I supposed to do something to get them on there?
No, we're doing it. I'll look into it. I'll talk to Chris. We'll figure it out. I'd rather not have like
tech talk
in the middle of a podcast. Where do I find it? Is it on Spotify? I don't know. Let me check.
Okay, hold on. Christy found you on YouTube.
Yeah, she's right. It's on YouTube as well. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. That's where.
Bondzee, have a great trip. Enjoy Colorado at Bondzee Live. Is where you can follow him on Twitter. Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube as well. He's got a great little YouTube channel where he's been documenting his failures.
Fuck you. I got lots of great content coming up still. It's just part of the problem is that there's only one of me, and I've got 10 more episodes coming out of some cool stuff that I've done.
Listen, Bondzee, boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo what? I'm not crying.
Boo-hoo, a long work day. Boo-hoo.
I'm not whining or complaining, fella.
I just heard you say you're only one person. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, I am, but I'm just saying the content, it takes a while to come out. That's all.
Only so much you can do after a 15 pack.
Whatever you want to say.
Pump your brakes.
I'll send Dean some footage tonight. He can do some editing for me too.
Yeah, send him some shit.
No problem. If I have time. Listen, I actually work on a 27-hour workday, so no problem. I'll just back up 3 hours and give you the 3 extra from the 24 that I've already used. No big deal.
Mighty white of you.
No, I'm kidding, buddy. I know it's a tough grind. It's fucking hard. This is a hard thing to do, to stay current all the time. James is gone, so that's good. Now we can talk about him. Lachlan, appreciate you being here. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Bondzee.
See you, Dean.
Appreciate you too. See you, boys. It's Lachlan Cross, Greg Bond, James DeFiore. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for being part of the podcast. Listen, you got a drinking issue? Talking to you. And you want to figure it out? Send me a DM. I can't figure out your drinking issue. But my DMs are always open. And not something I normally say or tell people, but it's important. It's important that someone have an outlet. And a lot of people don't when it comes to the shit that they're going through. So if you have an issue at ItsDeanBlundell, my DMs are open. Just put it out there. Because I got all kinds of time to be able to help people. I just don't have all kinds of time to be able to edit anything for anybody else. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks to Bondzee, James, and Locke for being part of the show. Thanks to our friends at easyautofinancial.ca. Easyautofinancial.ca. Go there today. They'll get your leasing for a vehicle and then put you in touch with, it's like one-stop shopping. Before you even have financing, which you need, go to them. They'll get you your financing, and then they'll put you in touch with someone that has the car that you want to buy. They'll do everything for you. They're wonderful people. They know that people are struggling with their credit rating and buying things that are expensive right now. So they're going to help you out. Doesn't matter what your credit rating is. They'll take care of your financing for free. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Check them out today. Thanks to our friends at Black Rose Organics, shop.blackroseorganics.com. Official cannabis partner of DeanBlundell.com. Right now, when you buy a medical membership at shop.blackroseorganics.com, you can actually get your membership by going to that page, shop.blackroseorganics.com. Then you sign up, and then you go shopping. And if you get your membership, your yearly membership, it's like $200. You get half price ounces, garlic sherbet, JMO, garlic jelly. You've got it all. They've got everything, and it's medicine that works. 30% THC for the garlic sherbet. Yes, it works. Trust me. Trust everybody that's worked with them. They do better medicine at a better price. Go to shop.blackroseorganics.com today. Thanks to Ed at Ed's Fine Imports. Appreciate you and your Gitch. You can get them now at edsfineimports.com. Promo code is Gitch3 if you get that promo code in you. Good news, you get an extra pair of Gitch for nothing. If it's free, it's for me. If it's got to be free, it's got to be free. That's the deal. Get free Gitch from Ed's Fine Imports. Luxury underwear. The greatest in North America. Do it today. edsfineimports.com. And Blue Microphones. Thanks to our friends, partners at Blue Microphones, part of the Blue Crew, the DeanBlundell.com podcast network, now 65 strong, with our friends over at Sound Off Media. Folks, we use Blue for a reason. It's because they're really good. Everything that we do, including these Yeti X mics and these MoFi headphones, come from a place of love. People love audio. They want to make us sound good. They're the best, without question. So they're the biggest in the world. Logitech group of companies. They got everything. Everything you'd imagine. Even my camera's Logitech. It's all part of the Blue family. And go to Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter, or bluemic.com today. Check out everything they have. If you want a podcast, broadcast, all that stuff. Sign up for our newsletter, DeanBlundell.com. Until tomorrow, we will see you then. Thanks for being part of the show. Take care of yourself. Sincerely. You only got one you. Take care of it. Like if you only have one car for your entire life, you know what you do? You take care of that fucking car your entire life. You got one body, one mind. Take care of yourself too. Have a great day. Bye. What kind of meat do you want on said submarine?
All of a sudden he's German.
Would you like a cold cut